Get to start your time.
Good evening and welcome to the Men of Purpose podcast. My name is Nubian and it is Wednesday, July 17th, I think. And we're having a fantastic, beautiful day today. So I got my lovely producer off to the side, Ms. Carter, who's going to help me put this thing together. Tonight's topic: men hear, women interpret, but who listens, right? Now let's break down what those words mean, because a lot of times people misunderstand that hearing is listening. They're not the same thing. Hearing is when sound reverberates off the eardrum. You're registering that there's a sound that came in through the ears, right? Doesn't mean that you listened, because to listen means to cognitively connect whatever that message is that's being conveyed. And interpreting, right? Interpreting is when you see or hear something and you don't take it at face value. You are treating it as though it has a double meaning, or sometimes even more, triple, quadruple, whatever. But it's not that thing that you saw or that thing that you heard. So when we talk about typical interactions, whether they be verbal, whether they be written, paper, email, text, or if they're seen, visual, right? They're seen from a distance, they're seen from a few feet away, they're seen right next to you. History states, and many, many scenarios will back this up. Men hear, very literal. Women interpret, well, it sounded like you said to me, and no one listens. Ergo, there's a disconnect in the communication between the genders. I'm going to give you an example. You say, you being a male, to excuse me, a female counterpart, hey, man, you look amazing today. If she woke up not feeling like her best self, her response is not going to be thank you. Her response is likely going to be, oh, but I feel like crap. Oh man, this whole thing? You think so? Because her interpretation of what you said is that, look, I know you're trying and you didn't put your best effort. I really don't want to tell you that you look like dog crap, so I'm going to say a kind thing to you because I care about you. That's what she interpreted. And all he hears is, this ungrateful so-and-so, I just gave her a compliment. How dare her not just say thank you? She thinks that she's responding in kind to your comment or your compliment. You think that she's being dismissive, maybe even disrespectful. No one's listening to the other, right? Because he heard what she said. She interpreted what he said, and no one listened. Now, when we talk deeper about that, we talk about things like, honey, now you're the woman, or this is a woman speaking to her male counterpart, whether it's a friend, significant other, family member, co-worker, what have you. Hey, I'm really having a rough day today, and I just don't know how I'm going to be able to go through it. The male says, oh, okay, you want to tell me about it? Well, now she may say not really and start launching into it anyway, but let's assume she said, yeah, I'll tell you about it. And she's talking to him, right? And she's telling him everything. Now, first off, guys, she's not telling you for you to say a damn thing back. She's telling you just so you can listen, just so you can allow her to vent and get it off her chest. However, if you do feel like you need to comment, don't start dispensing advice to her like you're the know-it-all guru. I've made this mistake lots of times, because sometimes I can be an idiot. I'm smart, but Sometimes I'm dumb, right? So she's telling you all these things. Usually they're not going to make any sense. They're going to be disconnected thoughts. They're going to be feelings intertwined with those disconnected thoughts. They're going to come from her past, her present, and how she thinks she's going to feel in the future. They're going to be talking about the person that she's talking about, somebody who remotely did something that might resemble the thing that this person did years ago, who you don't even know. And they're going to talk about the person who better not do this, that she might meet one day, years in the future. But you're supposed to stay focused, stay on board. She don't even know, right? But you're not supposed to try to give advice. You're only supposed to listen. Now, let's say you ask the dumb man question. Am I listening to listen, or am I listening to respond? We think we sounded so intelligent because we watched a few videos on Snapchat that said, when you're interacting with your woman, you need to make sure you give her space to express herself. So you pick up on this little tidbit and you're going to interject it here, and you think, man, I'm waxing so eloquent right now. You sound dumb. Don't say anything. Let her tell you she wants to hear something. If she does, she'll, then you have an opportunity to say something, which I'm going to tell you what not to say. But let's just say that little dumb thing that you said actually works, and she wants you to say something to her. This is what we do. Here are the no's. This is what we immediately do. Well, and I'm, again, Mr. Guilty. I'm guilty. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. But I'm going to tell you what not to say, right? First thing we do. Now you said that he made you feel that way. You know nobody can make you feel anything. Jeremy, this is why I don't talk to you. Because you don't understand. I am simply saying that I am hurting right now. And you like, but you told me to ask you. Listen, she's not asking for your perspective, my guy. She's not even asking for your opinion, really. What she's saying in woman speak is, I just said a bunch of stuff to you. I need for you to verbally agree with me and represent all of mankind as you do so by admitting that you are the scum of the earth. You are a piece of crap, and you will throw yourself down upon the altar of mercy for all females, in this instant for me. So can you tell me what you think, Jeremy? That's what she wants you to do, bro. If you're not prepared to do that, just get a phone call. Hold on. My phone ringing out. Give me 1 second. Get hungry all of a sudden. Have to use the bathroom. Spaz out. Just start. Rainbows taste like Lucky Charms. Just whatever. Whatever you need to do to get out of that responsibility. Because, bro, it's at your feet right now. What you gonna do, right? So that's what you don't do. You don't say stuff like that, right? You also don't start to vilify her. Because again, you have to ask yourself, is it important to be right? Or is it important to be supportive? And in this moment, it's important to be supportive. Even if she's dead wrong, even if everything she tells you, like I said before, which you probably will be, is disjointed, disconnected, and discombobulated. That's not the time to start correcting, right? The time is to be supportive. So you don't want to start saying things like, well, if you told me that you got to work at 8:05, how is it that you saw him do this thing when he took a break and y'all work second shift? You know what I mean? No, don't do that. You're trying to add reason and logic into something that's not what she is right now. She's on an emotional roller coaster. You need to be supportive, right? Because you are listening, or you're not listening, you're hearing things. You're hearing auditory sounds coming off your eardrum. She's interpreting things. She interpreted what happened to her, or what she alleged happened to her. She's interpreting how you're receiving this information. She's interpreting how you're disseminating it back to her. And neither of you are listening to each other. So somebody's got to do some semblance of listening, right? Now, there are a bunch of derivative things that I can go on and tell you not to do. So we're not going to do that. Now I'm going to tell you the things to do, First thing you need to do, guy, I'm talking to the guys, I'm not talking to the woman. I will talk to the female in a second. I'm talking to the guy. First thing you need to do, if you want this conversation to continue amicably, and I know this is gonna sound crazy because some of my other talks, I talk about against this. But again, this is a situational solution, right? It's not all the time situational. In this situation, you need to apologize. You're not apologizing for anything that you did, first of all. I would never ask you to do that. You need to apologize that you can't solve what she's going through. Admit that you don't have the answer right up front, regardless if you think you do. That's inconsequential in this moment. You know, first of all, I just want to say I'm so sorry that you're going through this. I wish there was something that I could do to make you feel better. How can I help? That's the first thing you do. Be vulnerable. Don't come in like you got all the answers, right? Because now you're setting the stage to not just hear, you're setting the stage to actually listen. But here's what we have to do, guys, and I know we want to do that and we want to start immediately giving ourselves brownie points and thinking of all the things we're going to do when she gives us those puppy dog eyes and like, you're listening to me, Jeremy. And you stop talking to her, you start thinking, yeah, you're going to be listening to me later, girl. It's going to be a lot of listening going on. We need to stop doing that. I know it's hard. The black out, we start thinking with both heads. We got to stop. You said the right thing. You apologized. You admitted you don't have all the answers. You made yourself vulnerable. Then you said, hey, now you're making yourself approachable. What can I do to help? Is there anything I can do to help? Now you got to turn on your listeners. And this is where, guys, this is something that we fail at because we don't understand listening versus hearing. And she's going to start talking. And it's going to, like I said, be all over the place. Here's going to be your challenge. You heard what her concern was. It doesn't matter if that's really what happened to her. That's what she thinks happened. That's her concern. So if her concern is this thing happened, everything that she tells you that is connected to that concern, you need to take note of. And you need to be ready to regurgitate that back when and if she does give you an opportunity to do so, right? So she's gonna say to you, blah, 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 disrespected me. Blah, 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 blah. I wanted to slap that. Blah, 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 blah. And I don't understand why. Blah, 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 blah. All he had to do was blah, 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 blah. And my backside when I was walking down the hall, blah, 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 blah. You pick up on those key points. And those are going to be the key points that you need to respond to when you go back after she gives you an opportunity, right? Now you're listening. Now you're translating that hearing, that sound, to connecting it to the message that she's talking about. Now, before I go back to the next thing you should do, guys, let's talk about the ladies for a second. Ladies, you just told him everything that was going on with you. You know you told him a lot. You understand that. You even say, I know this is a lot, Jeremy, but please keep up with me and thank you so much for being here listening to me, right? Now, ladies, you don't always sound like this, so before y'all start clowning me, why he got to do that to make me doing the lady voice? Because that's what you're doing. You heard how stupid I made Jeremy sound, right? That's how we sound. We dumb. So I'm talking about each person's most distasteful moment, right? All right. So when you give that man that opportunity to speak back to you, if he says to you, dang, Pamela, thank you for sharing that with me. I heard when you said you felt disrespected. I hate you felt that way. And if there's anytime you feel like somebody's being disrespectful to you in the moment, if you can't deal with that, give me a call, text me. Even if I can't come down there, I'll be happy to talk to you and try to talk you through it. That's what he said to you, because he's listening to you. This is what you heard. You little old lady, You need Big Daddy to come down there and take care of your problems for you. I got you, baby. Don't even worry about it. That's what you heard. That's not what he said. So your response is, what you mean call you? I'm supposed to just stop what I'm doing while somebody disrespecting me to call you? No, this ain't that. If somebody disrespect me, I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pick up an ink pen and I'm gonna go Joe Pesci all over his ass because this ain't what he think it is. I don't know who he think. Our name is Pamela. And then, calm down. Calm down, Tigers. We got you. You have to stop interpreting what you think somebody is saying and just listen to the message. You don't need to be a scroll decipherer. This is not ancient Hebrew, and he's not writing hieroglyphs on the wall. He's using the same language that you're using, the same words. There's no hidden message between. Most guys aren't that deep. You're giving them way too much credit. They're not that deep. You're gonna say something, he's gonna hear what you said, he's gonna respond. And here's the trick. I know this is gonna sound crazy because women don't do this, but here's the trick with guys. He only means what he said, nothing else. It's crazy. He just means what he said, nothing else. No hidden messages. Now, if you do that, now you're starting to listen. Now, here's something crazy that's going to happen, and I know this is going to sound weird. All of a sudden, those little arguments you guys have over something mundane won't happen anymore. Walking around swole up, mad, not talking to each other for days on end, to the point where on the third or fourth day, you forget what you're even mad about. Let me tell you where it started. Y'all both got off work, feeling good. You call him after he texts you, babe, what you doing? I just got off work. Me too. What you want to do tonight? You call him. I don't want to text, I want to talk. Let me try my hands are full. Okay, babe, what's up? When you gonna be home? About 20 minutes. When you gonna be home? About 20 minutes. Okay. Want to go do something? Yeah. Let's go get something to eat. All right, cool. What you want to eat? Oh, I don't know, you pick. Remember this conversation? He says, okay, cool, let's go to that place we want to go. Oh, I'm not really feeling that. Okay, all right, well, what you want? I don't care, whatever. What would decide when we get home? Okay, cool, get home, take a shower. Babe, what should I wear? Well, I don't know. Well, where are we going? Oh, well, I was thinking we could just go to that little place with the umbrellas, we can sit outside. It's supposed to rain tonight. I don't think I feel like doing it. Okay, all right, cool. What kind of food you feel like eating? I don't care, you pick. Now this goes on back and forth for about 30 minutes. He's getting frustrated because you can't find an outfit because you don't know where you're going. Every time you suggest a place, you don't want to go there, but you keep telling him to pick. He finally says, babe, you pick. I'm trying to get dressed and do my makeup. I had to put the kids down. I just worked all day. Why you just can't simply pick a place to eat? He like, well, shit, I picked like 5 places. You done shot them all down. Jeremy, I just don't understand why you make things so hard. He like, I tell you what, I make it real easy. We just order pizza. We finally got some time to ourselves, and now all you want to do is order pizza. This all started because somebody didn't want to make a decision about where to eat. Any of this sounding familiar? This happens in households across this country every day. Now y'all get mad, it escalates. Somebody becomes a B word, somebody becomes a blank ass blank, somebody becomes, my mama never liked you anyway. All this stuff, it escalates, it goes crazy. Clothes get thrown, Xbox get cracked open, tires get slashed, everything. Y'all mad with each other. 2-3 days go by, you forget why you're mad with each other. And guess what you do when you want to make up? Hey babe, what do you want to do tonight? I don't know, let's go get something to eat. Where do you want to go? I don't know, you pick. Ding, 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 ding. Wash, rinse, repeat. Because nobody's listening. He's not hearing that you just want him to take the lead. Remember the place that you took her that she liked. Don't say it. Go home. Tell her, hey, babe, put on this dress, put on these shoes. I made reservations for 7. That's what she wants, right? And she needs to understand and stop. Oh, where we going? Just another. Just do it. You told him to pick, he picked. You told him to plan, he planned. You told him to take initiative, he took initiative. Just go. Now everybody's happy. But here's the problem. In order for that to happen, 2 people have to take accountability for their own actions. He has to take accountability for his inability to understand the person he's been with for X amount of time, to know what her tendencies, her deficiencies, and her areas of opportunity are, so that he can do what he's charged to do from birth, and that's lead. That's what he has to be accountable. She's failing to be accountable for not living up to her role in being a good partner. In order for you to be a great leader, you have to be a good follower, right? So if you're getting into a relationship where you're asking your partner to do leadership type things, pick where you're going to eat, make decisions on discipline the kids, be present, be available for blah, 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 then you have to be obedient enough, disciplined enough, and loyal enough to follow without all of this, without all that back talk, without all of that critiquing. If you do what you're trusting, what you say you want this man to do, you're following what you say you want this man to do, and that's lead, then if he doesn't lead you where you want to go, then that's your fault for what? Picking a bad person to follow. That's your fault. Take some accountability. If this dude ain't leading you down the right path, then that's your fault. You picked him, right? Nobody forcing you to be with him. This ain't the 1820s where your parents come to you and say, we just got offered 50 cows, 30 bushels of peas, and this brick of gold. You got to marry Jeremy. Nobody did that. This is America. You chose that, whatever what you be calling when you talk to your girlfriend, that lame, busted, can't dress, look like he 3 months pregnant dude. You chose that guy. And he chose you. So if he has problems with your communication or lack thereof, then that's on him. Once we start taking accountability for men's inability to listen, because all we do is hear, women's inability to listen because all you do is interpret, then people will actually start listening to one another. And here's the wonderful thing about listening. You might figure out that you either don't like this person in the beginning, you should have never been with them, or you really like them a lot. We're not talking about love, right? You can love somebody and not like being around them. I got some family members that I love to death, but I don't want to see them coming. I'd rather just love them from a distance. I got people who I like a lot, but I don't love them. I'm going to give you an example. Y'all can kill me for this. Y'all can kill me for this. I actually think I would like hanging out with Donald Trump. He seems like the kind of person that I would have a ball with. A party? I want somebody who's grabbing people by the, you know what I mean? I want somebody who's talking smack. I want to be around somebody who's loud and raucous. But if that dude was my daddy, I couldn't love him. If that dude was my uncle, the way he talks about women and disrespectful even to his own daughter, I couldn't love him. But somebody with short-term intervals, I can like him, right? So if you are with someone that you don't trust enough to lead you, women, then you're with the wrong person. You'll never listen to that person. You will always interpret, you will always decipher, you will always try to outthink. You don't love that person enough to trust them to lead you anywhere. So you're never gonna listen. Men, if you are with a woman that you don't feel you need to take the time to try to understand where she's coming from, to help her fill in the gap, then you don't love her. You don't love her enough to do what you're charged to do, and that's lead. You don't love her enough to step your game up to be the man you're supposed to be. There's no way in the world a woman should be checking a man. There's no way in the world a woman should be. Now granted, a real man ain't gonna do that to a woman, because if you got to do that, then y'all just children anyway. You gotta fight somebody, argue with somebody, finger point with somebody, get into a verbal tete-a-tete with somebody. That's not love. That's not happiness. That's not progression. That's juvenile. That's why juveniles go through that, because they're trying to grow into grown-ups, right? That's why they go through that. So listening is not the problem. Accountability is the problem. Now we're talking about men hear, women interpret, and no one listens, because that's the end product of no one taking accountability, right? Now, usually, this is the opportunity where we would be taking questions from the audience, where we will be, my producer will be saying, hey, we got a question from Indiana, from blah, 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 blah. We're not doing that tonight because we are still setting up our studio. But I want to leave you with this. Most of the shows that we're going to do are going to be themed around everyday conversations that no one's having. No one's having this conversation. No one's having this conversation. When men are having conversations about women not listening, they want to vilify them. When women are having conversations about men not leading, they want to vilify them. We're vilifying no one. We're asking everybody to take accountability. We're asking everybody to own their portion of it. And we want to have a real live conversation about how we do that. It's not going to be something that is a simple fix, because it's really, really tough to admit that you have deficiencies in any area, especially when you don't think that you do. It's really tough to do that. It's also tough to tell that to somebody who is not looking to be helpful, but who's looking to be hurtful. What I mean by that is, if you tell somebody, hey, you were right, I falter in this area, most people's first response is, ha, I knew it. I told you this, that, and the other. Instead of saying, you know what, you were right also about something that I was doing. It may not be this thing, but it's this thing. Give and take, yin and yang. It's called compromise. Because even if I'm dating someone and they tell me that I'm right about something, and I know that there's areas where we've talked about that I'm wrong, I'm going to allow them to also have their flowers, because it's very hard to grow a garden if only one person has the flowers, right? You can't do it as a team when only one person is expected to get the flowers. Where they do that at? Not in Successfulville, they don't do that in Progression Town, and they don't do that in Happinessburg. You have to be able to understand that happiness is a shared commodity. It is something that if you are taking a journey with someone through this life, you're calling that person your life partner, then it needs to be a partnership. And as much as they're going to expect you, and you're going to expect them to share in all of the grief, all of the bad stuff, let's call those bills, right? You guys should also expect one another to share in all of the good things, all of the happiness, all of the wellness, all of the health, all of the joys, because that's needed. You're going to have to draw from that strength when you're going through those rough patches. So in summation, men, if you want to not be known as just the hearers, start translating hearing into listening. By listening, not just hearing, listening for the things that are bothering her when she's coming to you. Paying attention to the things that make her happy when she doesn't have any complaints. And repeating those things. You know that she likes a certain perfume, you know that she likes a certain television show, you know that she's been waiting on a movie to come out. And these things don't have to cost a lot of money. You know that she likes a certain beverage. Pack together a little picnic. Take her to her favorite spot with that favorite beverage, with that favorite perfume or Bath and Body Works, with that favorite blouse that she's been looking at. Doesn't have to cost a lot. It doesn't even have to be a gift. You know that she likes an author or a poet. Find a poem by that person. Write it down yourself or recite it for her. She'll appreciate that. Women, please stop trying to figure out your man. He is not an electronic device that came with a manual that you always have to refer to when he's on the fritz. Men don't communicate the same way that women do. Men communicate directly, men communicate succinctly, and men communicate literally. What we say is what we mean. End of story. Please start taking that into consideration before you start to dog him out, to vilify him, to say, you're gaslighting me. No, baby girl, I'm just talking to you. And I'm really hoping that you'll talk back to me. And both of you, stop telling your business to other people. My mama been around since before I had another man, and she gonna be around forever. Your mama ain't got to know all your business. Your boys ain't got to know all your business. Everybody should see your significant other with nothing but favoritism. Nobody should ever see the ugly parts. Nobody should ever know that y'all had that fight about that thing. Because when you guys forgive each other, the people that you told weren't in that forgiveness party. They didn't forgive her. They didn't forgive him. And they're gonna hold that on to him for the rest of their lives. Hope you guys have a fantastic night. Thank you for listening. Thank you for spending a little time with us. This is Men of Purpose, and my name is Nubian. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.